Hello, I am Isidro Lapuente, a researcher in political philosophy, human development, and digital transformation. In many schoolyards, a familiar scene repeats itself. The bully intimidates, pushes, or humiliates the weaker one. Around them, other children laugh, look the other way, or even celebrate the occurrence, not because they agree with the violence, but because it is not happening to them. The rationale is simple and profoundly human. As long as it doesn't affect me, it's better not to complicate things. Until one day, it does affect them. Then come the tears, the moral outrage, and the belated question, why did no one do anything before? This analogy is painfully relevant to understand what has happened on the international stage in recent years with the figure of Donald Trump and more broadly with a way of exercising power based on intimidation, unilateralism, and the deliberate erosion of shared norms. For years, a large part of the international community has acted like that group of spectator schoolchildren. They have observed, with varying degrees of discomfort, the devastation of Gaza, the pressure and destabilization on countries like Venezuela, the systematic disregard for multilateral frameworks, and, more recently, the territorial statements and demands that border on the grotesque, such as the case of Greenland. All of this has occurred without a firm, coordinated and timely response because apparently it did not concern them. From the perspective of the ecosystemic model of human development and freedom that I develop in the chapters of the blog, this collective behavior is not neutral. Turning a blind eye is also a form of action, or rather, inaction with normative consequences. In terms of the capabilities approach, it implies a renunciation of collective agency, of the shared responsibility to uphold minimum conditions of justice, dignity, and real freedom. As I have argued in these entries, freedom cannot be reduced to the absence of direct interference. It requires institutional, deliberative, and ethical conditions that allow for stopping the bully before their behavior becomes normalized. When international normative architectures fail, due to strategic calculation, fear, or convenience, a degradation of the global political ecosystem occurs, ultimately affecting everyone, exactly like in the classroom. Today, when some of those countries that once laughed nervously or remained silent begin to feel threatened, the capacity for response is diminished. The bully is now stronger, more unpunished, and more aware that for a long time, no one exercised their agency to stop them. The lesson, both in school and in global politics, is clear. Real freedom is defended before it is violated, even for oneself. Waiting for your turn is not prudence, it is a form of structural irresponsibility. And as I argue throughout the chapters of the ecosystemic model, without critical agency, without public reason, and without early collective action, freedom ultimately becomes a fragile privilege, always at the mercy of the strongest.